The Golden State Warriors cannot be stopped. As you all know, the Warriors have gotten off to a hot season start, and because of that, it has given them a record of 6 wins and 2 losses, which ranks them 3rd in the Western Conference. In today's video, we're going to be going through 5 underrated reasons why the Golden State Warriors have been absolutely dominant not only in the Western Conference, but in the NBA, and how this can help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is Chris Paul becoming the ultimate sixth man. As you all know, Chris Paul was actually rumored to be starting for the Golden State Warriors this season, but midway through the season, the Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr decided to make a change and have him come off the bench, and it has been so beneficial for what the Warriors are trying to do. CP3 coming off the bench not only provides that guidance from the second unit, but he is also able to lead that second unit to be much more effective offensively and defensively. Now, Chris Paul in the most recent game against the Detroit Pistons had himself a fantastic game where he was actually able to get 17 points, 6 assists, and also 5 rebounds. So, not meaning to throw any shade at Jordan Poole, but he has definitely been an upgrade to what the Golden State Warriors are trying to do when they made that trade for Jordan Poole earlier on during the offseason. Now, when it comes to CP3 so far, he has been playing great, averaging 7.6 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 8 assists. However, where he has been struggling a little bit is from the three-point line, where he's only averaging 7% from the three-point line. However, I do believe the shots will start to fall as the season goes on. His field goal percentage is still really good at 32%, but I do believe that three-point percentage definitely needs improving, and it will come with time with playing with this Warrior system. He's definitely not getting the same amount of looks that he was getting back in the day when he played for the Phoenix Suns, as he does have a lot more shooters in his team. Chris Paul is probably only getting around 8 to 10 shots per game, and because of that, he has to definitely be more efficient when it comes to his scoring. But when it comes to what he does, in other words, when it comes to assist, playmaking, just leading the team in general, he definitely does a lot of great things that has definitely benefited this team greatly, which is one of the reasons why the Golden State Warriors are where they are today. They've been fantastic, especially on the road. Since last season, they did have a very poor on the road performance, but they have seemed to change that around with the help of Chris Paul, and I wouldn't be surprised if we could actually see him win 6th Man of the Year this year. When it comes to what he does on the court, it's definitely helped out a lot, but you definitely see off the court when it comes to the guidance he gives to other players, such as Kuminga, such as Moody, and all these other young guys out there. It definitely does help the team and help the team morale greatly, and it will play a huge effect for this season to come. The second is none other than defensive juggernaut Gary Payton. Now, Gary Payton has done a fantastic job, and there is a reason why the Golden State Warriors decided to trade him and get him back last season. But JP II has done a fantastic job, and yes, it may not show up in the stat sheet, but what he's done for this team has honestly been fantastic, especially when we look at him defensively. When it comes to Gary Payton so far this season, he is actually averaging 7.3 points, 2.4 rebounds, and 1.1 assists, and he's also doing this on 45% field goal percentage and a 3-point percentage of 38%. And he's done this at a very good efficiency of only averaging around 18 minutes per game. So I think it's fantastic to see what Gary Payton II has done so far this season, but where I see some huge potential when it comes to GP II is definitely on the intangible things that he does. When GP II is out there, it's definitely his job to guard some of the best players in the league, especially even players that are above his height. As you all know, GP II is only 6'3", 190 pounds, and a lot of people do get that confused. GP II isn't the tallest guy, but he does get the job of guarding some 6'8" players, guarding LeBron, guarding KD at times, and he still does a fantastic job at containing them the best he can. He's 30 years of age, and he's done a fantastic job so far being a great defensive player, and I can definitely see him making All-NBA defensive team this year. When it comes to GP II, what I do believe he definitely does the best is not only just his on-ball defense, but his ability to switch on any other player. Whether it's a speedy guard or whether it's a big man, he's able to get you, that space that you need, and also able to play great defense as well. The fact that GP II does have a great 3-point shot on him, which is why he's averaging 38%, is also great for the spacing when it comes to out there on the floor, giving Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, even players now like CP3 and Wiggins a space to go to work, especially if they are in ISO situations. The third is Steph Curry still playing at an MVP type level. Now, don't get me wrong, Stephen Curry is getting older, but it has not slowed him down just one bit. He's 35 years age and 6'2" at 185 pounds, but he's still averaging 30.4 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. However, he's not only putting MVP type numbers, but he's doing it at an efficiency that we have never seen before. Now, as you all know, Stephen Curry is actually averaging a field goal percentage of 54%, a 3-point percentage of 48%, and also a free throw percentage of 92.9%. Guys, this may be one of the very few players that could actually get a 50-50-90 club. As we all know, 50-40-90 club is one of the most elite clubs out there when it comes to efficiency and shooting, and we could actually see Stephen Curry break that. He also have an overall effective field goal percentage of 70%, which is absolutely insane. And he's put on some great performances so far. If we look at the most recent game against the Detroit Pistons, he did give them 34 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And even just a couple of days ago, he actually dropped 42 points against the New Orleans Pelicans, while also shooting 71% from the free throw line and 54% from the three. So guys, he is honestly smoking it, and not only just doing it in an efficient way, but also doing it in a way that is honestly amazing, not just Warriors fans, but NBA fans throughout the world. So Stephen Curry definitely hasn't slowed down, and I definitely see him on the way to win that regular season MVP, dependent on how the Golden State Warriors go, especially when it comes to the power rankings or even the Western Conference rankings. But we need Stephen Curry to continue to play like this if they want an opportunity to have a shot at an NBA title, and I definitely think they have the right team. Draymond Green even said in a most recent podcast episode that he does believe that the Golden State Warriors team this year is a lot better from last year, and he does have a great inkling feeling that they have an opportunity to definitely make it to the finals once again. So I love that confidence, not only from Draymond Green, but also just from what they expect to see, and I do believe their high expectations can definitely been reached with the team that they have right now. The fourth is none other than the improvement of Moses Moody. Now, Moses Moody has definitely taken a bit of a shadow role due to the fact that Jonathan Kuminga is the next up and upcoming young star for this Golden State Warriors team. However, Moses Moody has been a silent great player due to the fact that he does stand at 6'6", 205 pounds, and is 21 years old, and definitely can play defense and offense very well. Now, so far this season, he is averaging 7.3 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 1.1 assists. And yes, those may not sound like such great MVP type numbers, but the fact that he's doing it on around 16 minutes of game time, I think is fantastic. And a great point to point out is actually that the Golden State Warriors have other scorers, have other playmakers in the team, and Moses Moody's main job is to play great defense, and he's doing a fantastic job at that. Yes, he may get a couple of looks here and there when Stephen Curry can't get a shot off, or Klay Thompson. However, I do believe Moody's main job is to just play great off-ball and on-ball defense, and he does a fantastic job that, especially if you watch the games. So far this season, he has been putting up great stats, and he's had some really decent games over the last couple of games as well, which I think is fantastic. A big standout game was a game against New Orleans Pelicans, where he had 13 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds, while also shooting 63%. So he did a fantastic job in that game, but when it comes to Moses Moody as a whole, I think he definitely has the potential to continue to become a very good player. Yes, he may not be dropping 15 to 20 points, but when it comes to his defense, it's definitely second to none. And although Jonathan Kuminga is supposed to be the main young guy coming from this roster, I do believe Moses Moody is just as good and is just as dominant as what Jonathan Kuminga is. And that's no shade towards Kampinga. He is obviously a great player, but I definitely think that Moody is the most slept on player in this team, and I think he has a lot to give for the future. The fifth is none other than the development of Jonathan Kuminga. Now, like we just talked about, Moody is a great player, and so is Jonathan Kuminga, and Jonathan Kuminga has definitely shown out and shown what he's capable of. So far this season, he's averaging 13.2 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 0.7 assists, but he's also doing this on shooting at 47% from the field. So he's been a fantastic player for the Golden State Warriors, especially due to the fact that the Warriors were actually thinking of trading him during that offseason. They decided to give him one more chance, and they will look to trade him at the trade deadline if he is not a good fit, but he's definitely shown time and time again that Jonathan Kuminga is supposed to be a Golden State Warrior and is supposed to help them win another NBA championship. If we look at the most recent game against the Detroit Pistons, they did face off, and he was able to score 10 points, which was great. But another thing that doesn't show up in the stat sheet is definitely his defensive presence, which is definitely felt. You guys seem to forget, a lot of these comments don't remember that Jonathan Kuminga is 6'8". He is pretty much considered in today's NBA a power forward and center. However, he does play small forward at times. I think that's where he really does dominate the best. He's still only 21 years of age, has a lot of youth behind him. And what I love about his game is definitely due to the fact that Kuminga is not only a very athletic player, but he's got very high IQ on defense, which has definitely helped out. He's definitely got the guidance from great players such as Chris Paul and also other players such as Draymond Green when it comes to defense and also being a part of that second unit. And I do believe his development has definitely improved over the last couple of years, and I can definitely see him becoming an all-out star. If we look at some notable games that has happened so far, we had the most recent game against OKC, which happened a couple of days ago, and he was able to have 19 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist in that game, while also shooting 60% from the field. So when he does get the opportunity to score, he can definitely score at will, which is what I love about him. But right now, defense is what's most important from Kuminga and what Steve Kerr expects out of him, and that's what he's done day in and day out. He's been guarding some of the best players in the league. LeBron, Chet Holmgren in that game against OKC at times where he's actually a very much taller player, and he did a great job at holding his own, being able to guard some of the best and some of the tallest players out there.